the 80th anniversary of the death of King George V. He was our king from 1910 to 1936, in a period when railways were developing lots of new techniques, high-speed trains and services. And he was the monarch, British monarch, that probably had more to do with taking an interest in developments on the railway than any other monarch we've had. In 1928, the London North Eastern Railway, which is the railway that operated the lines around here, introduced into East Anglia a brand new class of steam locomotive for their express passenger train services. And with the consent of King George V, it was called Sandringham, after his country house and his country estate. When he died at Sandringham in 1936, January the 21st, the LNER had 2 days to organise a funeral train to take his body back to London before it laid in state and then went for burial at Windsor. This would have been a most appropriate locomotive to have hauled his funeral train, but unfortunately it was undergoing an overhaul and wasn't available. So the railway company decided to use a very similar locomotive, or identical locomotive, that was almost brand new, being delivered at the end of 1935 and was sent to March for its day-to-day duties and day-to-day maintenance. Its name was Helmingham Hall. So it's the connection with March is that it was a March engine that worked King George V's funeral train. There wasn't a March engine crew, driver and fireman. They were Cambridge men, because Cambridge men knew the line to King's Cross, whereas March men didn't. The driver's name was William Collis, Frederick William Collis, I beg your pardon, Frederick William Collis. After the funeral train had run, within a few weeks, Collis went to work at Cambridge Engine Shed, and he hadn't been there very long. On this particular day, he dropped down dead. His fireman, Eric Foister, progressed to being a driver, and in 1951 his duty was to drive an engine pulling a train from Ely to Liverpool Street, and at Ely, preparing to couple the engine up to the train, he was unfortunately run down when the engine was moved by his fireman. The fireman also met an untimely end through illness not long after. So being associated with this funeral train was perhaps a poisoned chalice. The other reason this exhibition is here, it's promoted by the B17 Steam Locomotive Trust, who are a group of enthusiasts who are dedicated to constructing a brand new one of these full-size mainline steam locomotive for future generations to enjoy. And we have just this past year made a start on manufacturing. And there is actually some film on the television of the manufacturing process going on.